2,184 days. That's how long Marc Márquez starved for the crown. 6 years of exile. One shattered humerus rebuilt with 4 surgeries. Nerve damage that made his hand tremble when he tried to lift a spoon. Doctors who whispered he'd never return. 108 crashes since Jerez 2020, each one a coffin nail that the world thought would bury him. And yet, on a rain-washed afternoon at MotoGP 2025, he pulled the pin. Lap after lap, the red GP25 roared beneath him, a beast only he could tame. When the checkered flag dropped, the Spaniard screamed inside his helmet like a warlord returned from the dead. 7th MotoGP title, 9th overall, oldest champion in the modern era. But the crowd didn't bow. Rossi's tribe booed, whistled, and cheered his sprint crash. Their doctor had built a church of yellow, and Márquez just burned it. He had equaled Rossi's 7 Premier Class titles. He had tied the man who once tried to erase him from history. And Rossi, when asked about rivals, refused even to say his name. This is not sport. This is vendetta. This is myth against myth, and one of them must die. Marc Márquez was born into fire. The Ant of Cervera, they called him, a boy who rode dirt tracks like a wolf cub chasing blood. At 20, he stormed into MotoGP and took the 2013 crown like it was his birthright. Rookie champion. No one had ever done it like this. He laughed at the physics of man and machine, elbow-scraping tarmac before anyone else dared. From 2013 to 2019, he was untouchable. 6 MotoGP titles in 7 years, 56 wins, 95 podiums. He turned Honda into a factory of death, while rivals Pedrosa, Lorenzo Dovizioso looked like corpses lined up at his gate. Each victory wasn't just points. It was domination sculpted in numbers. Then came Jerez 2020, the high side from hell. Arm broken like glass, screws, plates, infections. He returned too soon, re-broke it, drowned in surgeries. Honda betrayed him with unrideable machinery, leaving him twisting in pain on a bike that bucked him like a wild bull. Rossi watched. Rossi smiled. Their feud went back to 2015, the Sepang clash. Rossi accused him of sabotage. Márquez called him idol turned enemy. Fans split. Yellow versus red, the doctor versus the ant. That scar never healed. By 2021, Rossi retired. He built his academy, his VR46 empire, his endurance career in BMWs. He became nostalgia incarnate, the eternal hero. And Márquez? He was bleeding out in Honda purgatory. Forgotten, pitied, doubted, but legends don't die, they reload. 2024, Márquez bet everything on a year-old Gresini Ducati. No salary, just survival. He finished 3rd in the championship, riding a GP23 like a dagger. That season was proof. Honda had buried him, not fate. 2025. He entered the factory Ducati fortress, GP25 under him, Alex by his side, Gigi whispering fire into his ear. Rossi's legacy looked safe. 9 world championships, 7 MotoGP crowns. But in shadows, Márquez sharpened. The myth of Rossi was immortality. The myth of Márquez was inevitability. And when inevitability walks into immortality's house, blood spills. The firestorm started in winter, Balaton Park test. Márquez rode the GP25 like a man possessed. Rivals whispered, "It's too early, too fast." He doesn't just ride bikes, he bends them to his will. Then the season unfolded like a war film. Qatar, Jerez, Márquez carved the track like a blade. Every win widened the scar on Rossi's legacy. Each stat was a nail in the yellow coffin. 25 wins across 2025, 14 poles, 9 fastest laps, 0 mercy. Screenshots of his quotes flooded the net. "I didn't come back to be respected. I came back to be feared. Scars don't weaken me, they weaponize me. If they boo, good. It means they know who their god is." At Mugello, Rossi's cathedral, Márquez was booed from warm-up to podium. He smiled. Victory there wasn't a trophy, it was sacrilege. Fans chanted for him to fall. In Misano's sprint, he crashed. They cheered like it was Judgment Day. He stood up, walked away, grinned at the cameras. "Even the floor can't keep me down." Meanwhile, Rossi, when asked about rivals, named Stoner, Lorenzo, Biaggi, Pedrosa. Not a syllable for Márquez. Silence is sometimes louder than words. That omission was a knife in the open, a final attempt to ghost him. But ghosts don't bleed. And Márquez, he was still burning. This was more than a championship, it was a siege. Factories played politics, Ducati had split, Pramac defected to Yamaha, VR46 still loyal to yellow. Factory Ducati caught in the storm, Pecco fading, Alex rising, and Márquez consuming everything. Pecco Bagnaia, two-time champion, looked like smoke without fire. He fought at Misano, clawed at Motegi Sprint, but the beast was slipping through his hands. Ducati corporate wanted balance. They didn't want one man to be king, they wanted the brand to shine. Márquez didn't care. He wasn't there to share. He was there to erase. Numbers became weapons. 7 MotoGP titles for Rossi, now 7 for Márquez. 9 world titles for Rossi, now 9 for Márquez. Rossi retired at 42. Márquez crowned at 32, oldest champion of his era. Each one was a bullet to Rossi's myth. Crowds tried to break him. At Mugello, 50,000 boos rained down. At Misano, children in yellow flipped signs at him. But pressure doesn't crush Márquez, it sharpens him. Every cheer for his crash was fuel. Every jeer was a hymn to his brutality. Psychological warfare? He mastered it. Rossi's silence was weakness. Márquez's quotes were fire. Every day I gain respect. Every day someone else loses it. The system wanted Rossi's myth preserved. MotoGP sells nostalgia. The doctor is eternal. But Márquez didn't come to preserve. He came to conquer. And conquest leaves ashes. Japan 2025, the land of his Honda betrayal, the place where his exile began, the stage where his redemption ignited. Rain threatened, pressure screamed, Alex still mathematically alive, Pecco desperate. But Márquez rode like destiny wore his leathers. Lap after lap, perfect lines. Rivals cracked, Pecco wide, Alex overpushed, Martin vanished. When the flag dropped, history bent. Márquez was world champion again. 7th MotoGP crown, 9th world title, 184 days of suffocation ended. The pit wall erupted like an explosion. Mechanics cried, Gigi roared, the Spanish anthem thundered while boos cut through the rain. Márquez removed his helmet, screamed skyward, fists shaking like a gladiator's. His most iconic line, I don't chase ghosts, I kill them. At that moment, Rossi's shadow cracked. Legacies are written in blood and numbers. Rossi had his 9. Márquez now has his 9. Both 7 in MotoGP. The difference? Rossi's tale is nostalgia. Márquez's is brutality. Rossi built love. Márquez builds fear. Rossi danced with charisma. Márquez fights with scars. Rossi was adored. Márquez is endured. Who's greater? Numbers say equal. Style says war. Rossi refused to name him. Márquez bowed, called Rossi an honor. 2 men locked in eternity, one silent, one savage. But what next? At 32, Márquez is champion again. Rivals younger, hungrier, but none as lethal. Acosta rises, Bezzecchi hunts, Alex pushes, yet none carries scars like him. This story isn't done, because every crown is just a target. Marc Márquez has killed myths, crushed factories, burned yellow kingdoms, but war never ends. The ant doesn't retire, he buries gods.